Ina P. Daliba. I am with my members. So we will discuss here the culture of Philippines in politics, social, environmental, technological, and legal. But now we will proceed first to the culture of Philippines in politics. But before anything else, what is culture? Culture, in the broadest sense, it is a way of life of people. For sociologists and anthropologists, culture is passed on from one generation to another by learning, rather than biological inheritance. For political scientists, culture is a people's psychological orientation. Ibig sabihin, ang kultura ay ang pagsasalin-salin ng mga tradisyon ng isang grupo ng tao o komunidad. Sa Pilipinas, ang kultura ay ang pinaghalong mga tradisyon, paniniwala, at pamumuhay ng mga dayuhang nananakop at ng mga katutubong Pilipino. What is political culture? Political culture is the pattern of orientation to political object and the constitution expressed in beliefs, symbol, and values. Political culture differs from public opinion in the sense that it is a product of long-term values of a nation rather than simply people's reaction toward specific issues given a particular time. Ibig sabihin, ang kulturang pampolitika ay isang hanay ng mga salubin at gawi na pinanghahawakan ng isang tao na humuhubog sa kanilang pampolitikang pag-uugali. Kabilang dito ang mga moral na panghusga, pampolitikang meto, paniniwala at idea tungkol sa kung ano ang gumagawa para sa isang mabuting lipunan. Mahalaga ang kulturang pampolitika dahil lumuhubog ang mga ito sa pampolitikang pananaw. What is political culture in the Philippines? Political culture in the Philippines is heavily influenced by its Spanish and American colonizer as well as by the major events that happened since its independence. Most of political culture that existed in the pre-colonial era are now obsolete and irrelevant, as all or almost of these are no longer evident in the current Philippine political culture. Ibig sabihin, ang mga sinaunang Pilipino ay may sariling paraan ng pamumuno at mga batas bago pa man dumating ang mga Espanyol. Example of this extremely fragmented political institution and presence of social classes that show clear inequalities among citizens of a barangay city-state by labeling them as the Maharlika or upper class, a group of individuals who occupy the highest place in status in society. The Timawa or middle class refers to individuals who fall between the working class and upper class. Sila yung taong napaggigitnaan ng upper class at middle class. Sila'y may ituturing na hindi ganun kayamanan at hindi rin ganun kahirapan. The third is the alipin or lower class. It is typified by poverty, homelessness, and unemployment. Ibig sabihin, sila yung mga taong walang mga trabaho or mga nagpapaalipin nung sinaunang panahon. Now, we finish to discuss the culture of Philippines in politics.
Hey everyone, my name is Jericho Rongalario and my topic for today is social culture in the Philippines. The great majority of the Philippine population is bound together by common values and a common religion. Philippine society is characterized by many positive traits. Among these are strong religious faith, respect for authority, and high regard for amor proprio or self-esteem, and smooth interpersonal relationships. Philippine respect for authority is based on the special honor paid to elder members of the family, and by extension, to anyone in a position of power. This characteristic is generally conducive to the smooth running of society, although when taken to extreme, it can develop into an authoritarianism that discourages independent judgment and individual responsibility and initiative. Filipinos are sensitive to attacks on their own self-esteem and cultivate a sensitivity to the self-esteem of others as well. Anything that might hurt another's self-esteem is to be avoided or else one risks terminating the relationship. One who is insensitive to others is said to lack a sense of shame and embarrassment. the principal sanction against improper behavior. This great concern for self-esteem helps to maintain harmony in society and within one's particular circle, but it also can give rise to clannishness and a willingness to sacrifice personal integrity to remain in the good graces of the group. Strong personal faith enables Filipinos to face great difficulties and unpredictable risks in the assurance of that God will take care of things. But if allowed to deteriorate into fatalism, even this admirable characteristic can hinder initiative and stand in the way of progress. Social organization generally follows a single pattern, although variations do occur, reflecting to the influence of local traditions. Among lowland Christian Filipinos, social organization continues to be marked primarily by personal alliance systems. That is, groupings composed of kin, real and ritual, grantors and recipients of favors, friends, and partners in commercial exchanges. Philippine personal alliance systems are anchored by kinship, beginning with the nuclear family. A Filipino loyalty goes first to the immediate family. Identity is deeply embedded in the web of kinship. It is normative that one owes support, loyalty, and trust to one's close kin, and because kinship is structured bilaterally with a final as well as consanguineal relatives. One's kin can include quite a large number of people. Still, beyond the nuclear family, Filipinos do not assume the same degree of support, loyalty, and trust that they assume for immediate family members for whom loyalty is nothing less than a social imperative. With respect to kin, beyond this nuclear family, closeness in relationship depends very much on physical proximity. Bonds of ritual kinship sealed on any of three ceremonial occasions: baptism, confirmation, and marriage, intensify and extend personal alliances. This mutual kinship system, known as compadrazgo, meaning good parenthood or sponsorship, dates back at least to the introduction of Christianity and perhaps earlier. It is a primary method of extending the group from which one can expect help in the way of favors such as jobs, loans, or just simple gifts on special occasions. But in asking a friend to become godparent to a childhood, Filipino is also asking the person to become a closer friend. Thus, it is common to ask acquaintances who are of higher economic or social status that are than oneself to be sponsors. Such ritual kinship status that oneself or cannot be dependent on in moments of crisis to the same extent as real kinship, but it still functions for small and regular acts of support such as giving or gift giving. A dyadic bond between two individuals may be formed based on the concept of utang na loob. Although it is expected that the debtor will attempt repayment, it is widely recognized that the debt, as in one's obligation to a parent, can never be fully repaid and the obligation can last for generations. Saving another's life, providing employment, or making it possible for another to become educated are gifts that incur utang na loob. Moreover, such gifts initiate a long-term reciprocal interdependency in which the grantor of the favor can expect help from the debtor whenever the need arises, and the debtor can, in turn, ask other favors. Such reciprocal personal alliances have had obvious implications for the society in general and the political system in particular. In 1990, educated Filipinos were less likely to feel obligated to extend help, thereby not initiating an utang na loob relationship. than were rural dwellers among whom traditional values remained strong. Some observers believe that as Philippine society became more modernized and urban in orientation, utang na loob will become less important in the political and social systems. In the commercial context, Suki relationship or market exchange partnerships may help between two people who agree to become regular customer and supplier. In the marketplace, Filipinos will regularly buy from certain specific suppliers who will give them in return reduced prices, good quality, and often credit. Suki relationships often apply in other contexts as well. For example, regular patrons of restaurants and small neighborhood retail shops and tailoring shops often receive special treatment in return for their patronage. Suki does more than help develop economic exchange relationships because trust is such a vital aspect. It creates platform for personal relationships that can blossom into genuine friendship between individuals. Patron-client bonds also very much a part of prescribed patterns of appropriate behavior. This may be formed between tenant farmers and their landlords or between any patron who provides resources and influence in return for the client's personal services and general support. The reciprocal arrangement typically involves the patron giving a means of earning giving or of help, protection, and influence, and the client giving labor and personal favors, ranging from household tasks to political support. These relationships often evolve into ritual kinship ties, as the tenant or worker may ask the landlord to be a child's godparent. Similarly, when favors are extended, they tend to bind patron and client together in a network of mutual obligation or a long-term interdependency. Filipinos also extend the circle of social alliances with friendship. Friendship often is placed on a par with kinship as the most central of Filipino relationships. Certainly ties among those within one's groups of friends are an important factor in the development of personal alliance systems. Here, as in other categories, a willingness to help one another provides the prime rationale for the relationship. And that's all for my social culture in the Philippines. Next reporter, please.
Good morning, sir. My name is Giselle M. Tautau. I'm the reporter of Culture of the Philippines in Technology. So first, what is technology? Technology is the application of scientific knowledge to the particular aims of human life, or sometimes praised to the change and manipulation of human environment. Technology is the way to make our lives easier. This is also the way to advance and apply tools, machines, and different processes that help a person work. Back then, the technology was not very advanced, so many tasks are done by manual process. It plays an important part in the majority of our lives. Technology essentially harnesses the tools, technologies, and strategies used to help us solve problems and simply make our lives better and easier to live it some way. Technology, then and now. Example, in cooking, back then, it was still used with wood and lead to cook, but with the mischief of people thinking, they invented the rice cooker, microwave, and other cooking tools, so it is now easier. Apart from tools, the washing machine was also invented for doing laundry. And above all, cell phones and computers to facilitate human communication. What does technology do to a country? In economics, it is widely accepted that the technology is the key driver of economic growth of countries, religions, and cities. Technological progress allows from the more efficient product or more and better goods and services, which is what prosperity depends on. However, the mechanism through which technology is developed, adapted, and used in production are complex. Their more detailed analysis can allow for new findings that could have important impact in many areas of policy, including science policy, research and development, industrial policy, and both national and regional development policies. In fact, the concept of technology itself, as well as the individual and social capabilities required for its development, can now be studied at a much more fine-grained level, leading to a potential contribution that may impact higher education, job creation, and economic growth.
Let's proceed in cultures of Philippine and environmental. It says the Philippines has a two climate, which is tropical and maritime. The climate of the Philippines is tropical and maritime. It is characterized by relatively high temperature, high humidity, and abundant rainfall. It is similar in many respects to the climate of the countries to Central America. The tropical climate in Köppen system is defined as having an average temperature in every month of above 80 degrees Celsius. There is no winter season and annual rainfall is large and exceeds the annual evaporation. So, let's move on climate and cultural identity. Stories from the Philippines indigenous people. The Ifugao are an indigenous people from northern Luzon whose primary means of livelihood are agricultural, terracing, and farming. The changes in the climate have caused the erosion of their 2,000-year-old rice terraces. This has led to the displacement of their farmers in search for greener pastures. Ifugao people in the province of Ifugao say they have been seen a decrease in the number of farmers due to shifts in season. So as you can see on the pictures, we can see the beauty and undescribable beautiful scenery of rice terraces. So they are known worldwide for the Ifugao rice terraces, recognized as a World Heritage Site and described by UNESCO as a living cultural landscape of unparalleled beauty and an enduring illustrations of an ancient civilization that surpassed various challenges and setbacks posed by modernization. So it also says that some of them says before they do have their own cropping calendar, but they knew when and they knew when best plant a rice. But with the changing of climate, they are no longer tell when the rains would come. There are times that their rice terraces cannot hold the volume of rainfall, and according to Hang Dan, the shifts in seasons also affect their cultural practices, specifically the baki or rice ritual performed as Thanksgiving to the agricultural gods. It is supposed to be observed during the start of the planting season, but because they can no longer count on their cropping calendar, most of them just forgo the tradition. Because of this, they said other young people from Ifugao are losing interest in the observance of their practices as they would rather live in the city than continue farming. This is why the 24-year-old said she personally sought to learn about her culture by working in the Ifugao Cultural Heritage Office for fear of losing it. While the witness could not technically explain the concept of climate change, their testimonies provided examples of how it's manifests in the lives of indigenous people. And affects not only their environment but also their identity intertwined with it. And in their place, when they ask people, alam nyo ba, ang climate change, wala silang masabi na
ito talaga, but they will tell their stories and doon, mas maiintindihan natin kung bakit nga ba mas pinipili ng mga tao sa Ifugao na magtrabaho na lang sa city kesa magpatuloy uli na magtanim ng palay.
Hello sir, I'm Brian Andres Garamay and I'm reporting the topic of the legal system in the Philippines. The legal system in the Philippines. The legal system in the Philippines is a synthesis of Islamic law, Roman, civil law, and Anglo-American common law. The immigration of Muslim Malays in 14th century and the subsequent colonization of the islands by Spain and the United States led to the development of the legal system. There are three types of common law. First, in common law system, the pleadings usually complain outlining the plaintiff's claims and their response outlining the defendant's defenses. Set for the key points contention. The legal sufficiency of the pleadings can be examined through a process which frequently takes the form of a request to dismiss. Example of a common law. Assumption of the risk. The plaintiff knowing voluntarily consented to the risk. That's a sample of a common law. Next is the civil law. Civil law deals with the behavior that constitutes an injury to an individual or other private property, such as corporations. Examples of a civil law: libel and slander, breach contract, negligence resulting in injury or death and property damage. Ayun po yung mga example ng law na civil law. Religious law includes, next is the religious law. Religious law includes ethical and moral codes taught by religious traditions. Ito naman po mga relihiyoso, mga tradisyon na kultura ng Pilipinas. Different religious system holds shared law in a greater lesser degree importance to their belief systems, with some being explicitly antinomian where areas, others domestic and legalistic in nature. Samples of a religious law. Religious law refers to the ethical and moral codes taught by religions. Examples: Christians, canon law; Islamic Sharia; Jewish halakha, and Hindu law. That is some laws legal in the Philippines. Thank you, sir.